Chat. I am your host, Nizzy. And in this video, you guys, we're going to be continuing our top 10 countdown here. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down our top 10 wide receivers going into the 2021 NFL season. I'm going to be doing a series on this, you guys. I've already done the quarterbacks and the running backs so far. You can go ahead and check those videos out on my channel. And today we're going to be doing the wide receivers. I'll probably end up going through each position group here, starting on the offensive side of the ball, obviously, and then we'll head over to the defense next. But today we're going to go with the wide receivers, you guys. So let's, without further ado, get into this right here. And the number one wide receiver I got going into the 2021 NFL season, a little bit of bias. Davante Adams, you guys, I got him as my number one guy. I'll just give you some stats on the guy from 2020. He had probably one of the best seasons of his career. Just lit up the league with 115 catches, for 1,374 yards. Led the league in touchdowns with 18 last year. Last four out of his last 4 or 5 seasons he's played in, he's got double-digit touchdowns, which is incredible. I think last year, or 2 years ago now, because last year he had the 18. 2 years ago he had 5 touchdowns, and then every year before that he was into the 10 to 12 range. So he's been leading the league for the last 4 or 5 years in touchdowns for wideouts. The dude's just got an incredible first step off the line of scrimmage and beating his guy in man-to-man coverage. Great hands, catching lots of hard passes from A-Rod, whether it be over his head, low passes, back of the end zone. The guy's got a nose for finding that soft spot in the end zone. Just an incredible talent. Main guy for the Packers as well, and is still able to get open even though we don't have a lot of extra wideout talent. So he's usually getting double teamed, or he's got extra defenders on him, and he's still able to get open and get that ball. Just an outstanding season from him last year. As long as A-Rod's back this year, I would expect another outstanding season from him. I think he's just going to continue to keep pace with what he's been the last couple of years, that go-to guy for the Green Bay Packers. And like I said, leading the league in touchdowns over the last 5 seasons is just incredible. And I would expect him to have another 100-plus catch season this year coming up, as long as A-Rod's going to be there for the team. So I got him as my number one wide receiver going into 2021. Like I said, a little bit of bias, you guys. It could all be a little bit different depending on how you guys view your top 10s. But once again, this is just going to be my opinion on my top 10s. And I got Davante Adams number 1. The number 2 slot, you guys, no surprise, we're going with DeAndre Hopkins here. Just another outstanding wide receiver. The guy can just go up and get that ball. He's really, really good at high pointing those passes when he's in double coverage there. I mean, he's just so good at ripping that ball out of the sky. For example, we can go back to that Hail Mary pass against the Buffalo Bills last season, where he just was able to go up with 2 defenders on him and just rip that ball down. I mean, that's the hand strength of this guy is phenomenal. He's probably one of the best contested catch wide receivers in the game today. 2020 stats for the guy: he had 115 catches, same as Davante, 1,407 yards, 6 touchdowns, so not quite as much. Davante tripled him up in the touchdown department. But nonetheless, the guy is just a beast of a wide receiver. Second year now going in with Kyler Murray. I would expect him to be a lot better this year, just having that familiarity with his quarterback. And I think they're going to be primed up for a good season, those two. So I got him as my number 2. Number 3, you guys, we got Julio Jones. Had a little bit of a down year last year, obviously dealing with some injuries. I believe he's dealing with some hamstring injuries throughout the season. Didn't have a great season, but like I said, when you're dealing with injuries and playing on a pretty porous team in the Atlanta Falcons, it's tough to get a lot of catches. He had 51 catches last year for 771 yards, 3 touchdowns, so nothing too crazy. But like I said, he missed quite a few games with injury. Obviously heading over to Tennessee in a trade this offseason, so I would expect him to have a bit of a bounce back year. Obviously, he's going to have a little bit of pressure taken off him because they got another big-time target at A.J. Brown, so he shouldn't be dealing with as many double teams because they're going to have to pick and choose their poison, the defense, whoever's playing against Tennessee, obviously, because you're not going to be able to double both guys, because then you're going to leave 3rd and 4th options wide open on the field. So I think he's going to have a nice bounce back year, barring no injury issues again. But I got him as my number 3, just a huge, strong, physical receiver, man. Can deal with those double teams. And I think he's going to have a great season in Tennessee this year. So that number 4 slot, you guys, we got the speed demon, Tyreek Hill, Cheetah. I mean, got to have him in that top 4, top 5, right? The guy's a beast, fastest guy in the league by far. I mean, I don't think there's anyone really too close to him speed-wise. I know there was a video over the summer where Aaron Jones was working out with the guy running back for the Green Bay Packers there, and he wasn't able to keep up with him. Cheetah just ripped on by him there, so this guy's still got that top end speed. Like I said, fastest guy in the league. Pretty good stats last year as well. He had 87 catches for 1,276 yards with 15 touchdowns. I believe he is second in the league in touchdowns, just behind Davante Adams. So just an outstanding season from him last year. I would expect him to have another good one with Patrick Mahomes behind center, obviously, for them. He's got a great quarterback throwing to him. And another crazy stat, guys, is he led the league in touchdowns over 40-plus yards with 4. He was tied for first place with Marquez Valdes-Scantling from the Packers for 4 touchdowns over 40 yards last season. So you know the guy's got that deep ball threat. He can just take the top off the defense. And yeah, I got him as my number 4 wideout going into the new season here, you guys. And then in the number 5 slot, we got Stefon Diggs from the Buffalo Bills. This guy had an outstanding season there. I mean, he's probably happy to be with Josh Allen, got out of the Kirk Cousins lifestyle there in Minnesota, where he was more so a second option behind Adam Thielen. He kind of wanted to get out of there. He wanted to be the main target, the main dude. And obviously when he went over to Buffalo, he was that guy, and he proved it over and over and over again that he is the main guy. 127 catches last year. Pretty sure that's a league lead. Just outstanding. 1,535 yards. 8 touchdowns to go with that. Obviously the go-to guy for Josh Allen. I mean, anytime you're watching the Buffalo Bills play last season, anytime they needed a clutch catch in key time situations in the fourth quarter, big time moments, Stefon was always the guy that came up. Scrambling as well, when the play would break down, he would always be the guy that would be able to get open for Josh Allen. That connection I just expect to get stronger this year to come, and I expect him to have another big time season this year, so that's why I got him in my number 5 slot. Number 6, you guys, we got going down to Tampa, we got Mike Evans, the big body guy from Tampa there. The dude is just outstanding at being able to go up and high point that ball. He's an absolute bona fide deep threat. He's great in the man-to-man coverage. Pretty much if you go man-to-man on the guy, he's beating you hands down. I mean, you pretty much can't go man-to-man with him. As long as the ball's placed where you can catch it, he's going to go up and get it. He makes some outstanding circus catches last year from Tom Brady. Obviously taking home the Super Bowl last year as well. I would expect him to have another solid season. Last year he finished off with 70 catches for 1,006 yards, 13 touchdowns as well. So a really nice season for him. I expect him to be probably one of those go-to guys for Tom Brady this year as well. So I got him at my number 6 slot for this coming year, you guys. Then in the number 7 slot, we got Odell Beckham Jr. Had a rough go last year, obviously tearing that ACL pretty early on in the season. I think it was only, 6 or 7 games into the season that he tore his ACL. Unfortunate news. He should have a good bounce back year this year. Obviously the second year with Kevin Stefanski as the head coach, the offense should be running a little smoother. Hopefully Baker continues to progress and be able to feed him the ball a little better, make a little more accurate passes down the field. I think Odell can have a nice breakout season. With Cleveland, last year, he only had 23 catches for 319 yards and 3 touchdowns. Obviously, like I said, he was injured, so you can't really take those numbers too seriously. But this guy's got some of the best hands in the league. Some of these catches he makes one-handed is just insane. And I expect him to have a good season here with Cleveland. Obviously, these guys are starting to be looking like a good playoff team now. And then with the addition of Odell being able to be around there later on in the season, I think that's going to be just that much more added help to that team, which will also help Jarvis be able to get open more, just being able to have such a high-value target out there in OBJ. So I got him at my number 7 slot. Number 8, you guys, I got Michael Thomas from the Saints. Another guy that had a rough season last year, dealt with a lot of injuries. I believe he was dealing with that ankle injury for most of the season. Obviously, it wasn't Drew Brees' best year. He's retired now. He was kind of just falling off a cliff there last year. Michael Thomas ended up having 40 catches for 438 yards. Wasn't able to get into the end zone last season. But like I said, he was injury-plagued most of the year. He missed most of the season. I think he only played maybe 6 or 7 games throughout the year. Just a rough go for the guy. I would expect him to have a bounce-back year as well and be one of those main targets for either Jameis Winston or, what's the other guy there? Hill. I think it's Hill, isn't it? Taysom Hill. Yeah, Taysom Hill. So depending on who they have starting at quarterback there, I would assume Jameis Winston's going to be starting. But no matter who's going to be throwing the ball, Michael Thomas is going to be a key target for them, making their life a little bit easier. So I got him at my number 8 slot. In the number 9 slot, you guys, we're going over to the Chargers, and we're going with Keenan Allen. Another 100-catch season for the guy, just shy of 1,000 yards with 992 yards. Added in 8 touchdowns. Was a huge target for Herbert down the field last season. Lots of contested catches, just circus catches that this guy can make. He's a great route runner. And I expect him to be that main guy going forward for Justin Herbert. Obviously, Herbert's second season, that connection between those two is going to continue to strengthen and build. They got Brandon Staley in there as their new coach. I think their offensive scheme is going to be a little bit better. Obviously, with that revamped offensive line, they probably got one of the best offensive lines now in the league, which is just going to give Herbert more time to throw the ball, which is going to give Keenan Allen more chances down the field to get open. So I expect him to have another solid season for the Chargers. And got him at my number 9 slot. And then rounding out this year's top 10 list for the wide receivers, you guys, we're heading down to Dallas. We're going to go ahead and take Amari Cooper, the route running master. I mean, the guy's probably one of the best route runners, if not the best route runner in the league. Had 92 catches last year for 1,114 yards with 5 touchdowns. Quite impressive, to be honest, considering that Andy Dalton was his main quarterback for most of the season, seeing as Dak went down pretty early in the season with that nasty ankle injury. So to be able to have him back throwing him the ball this year, I could see his numbers increasing a little bit, and having another solid season, obviously, as well, being the second season under the new system there under Mike McCarthy. That should allow everything to flow a little more smoother. I expect him to have another solid season, maybe around 100 catches and another 1,000-yard clip. So that's my top 10 wide receivers, you guys. Would be curious to see what you guys got for your top 10. Leave a comment in the comments section down below. You guys can give me your list of top 10 wideouts, or let me know which ones you would replace in my list. Once again, we'll just run through them all real quick here. We got number 1, Davante Adams from the Packers. 2, we got DeAndre Hopkins. 3, we went with Julio Jones. Number 4 is Tyreek Hill. Number 5, we went with Stephon Diggs from Buffalo. 6, we took Mike Evans. Number 7, we got Odell Beckham Jr. Number 8, we got Michael Thomas. Expect him to have a bounce-back season this year. Number 9, keeping steady with Keenan Allen here, and then obviously Amari Cooper to round out the top 10, you guys. Once again, you guys, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. We're going to be coming out probably with the tight ends next, and then the offensive line here. Going to try and get all these out before the start of the regular season in September. And once again, you guys, appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and this is Nizzy with Nizzy Sports Channel.